Hello and welcome to the third season of the Green and Gold Gridiron Show. I'm Margot Morin.
And I'm Chris Sheets from Kissin' Country 103.9. I was getting a little nervous. We were waiting for the call to find out if we were going to do the season this year. And we made the training camp, we made the cuts, and we're here today. Thank goodness.
There's a ton of competition out there too, but they couldn't break us up.
No.
We're like Moon and Kelly, or like Ray and Tucker.
I was thinking more Dumb and Dumber or Beauty and the Beast. But anyway, one thing I do know for sure is it's going to be a wonderful new season right here on the Gridiron Show, and we're going to kick off a great new football year as well. Why don't you get us started?
Sure thing. We're going to start this episode with our alumni segment entitled Fifth Quarter. We're taking a look back at Eskimo linebacker Jed Roberts.
I kind of came in quietly. In 1990, I went to training camp with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Got hurt about 2 weeks in, and then I rehabbed my hamstring, and I called every team when they released me, and the first team to call me back was Edmonton. I actually retired twice before I retired for good. I ruptured my Achilles in 98, came back after retiring in 99, and then I decided I wanted to go try to do something else out on the coast in Vancouver in 2000, and then I came back halfway through the year that year. So by the time I got to it in 2002, I was ready to do it for good, and I haven't regretted a day. Well, I work as a child and youth care worker with an organization called Bosco Homes, and we work with kids that are kind of at the end of their tether in terms of sort of the last house on the block type of thing before they go to jail. We do life skills, social skills, anger management, that type of thing. The one thing that did do me good was the community relations part of it. The mentoring that I did with the Stay in School program. Myself and Trent Brown and some of the other guys like Gizmo, we started that program in 1991 or 2 thereabouts. And it's been a mainstay with the Eskimos Community Relations Department since. There really is something to the once an Eskimo, always an Eskimo. I made my home here, even though I've lived in the States for a good portion of my life, and I'll never leave. I love Edmonton. It's the greatest city in Canada, and I feel the same way about the franchise. Even though the wins haven't been coming, I think they'll come. We've got a pretty good nucleus in place here, and it's just a matter of time.
You know, Chris, Jed had a wonderful CFL career, but what's most impressive is that he did it all while being 95% deaf.
Absolutely, an inspiration for all of us. Just a great guy. Are you much of a drawer?
Not at all.
Okay, me neither. Up next, it's Draw Play. It's a new game we're going to play with Eskimo players, and they're going to draw on an easel. They get a card with a word on it. We're going to find out if they can kind of get in line with their Eskimo players, how many words they can guess by drawing in 1 minute. Let's see how they do.
Hi, it's Dave Jameson. We're back here playing Draw Play at Eskimo Training Camp, and we are here with one of the rookies, one of the new guys here. You are?
Nate Coehoorn.
Nate, do you know how we do this?
I do.
Okay, let's get after it. I hand you a card, you hit the board and start drawing.
Okay. Bench press. Apples.
Yep. Nicely done, Nate.
Arm curls. Pomegranate.
And sorry, pomegranate? Okay. Wow. Out of left field comes pomegranate.
Oh man.
Peanut?
Sailboat.
Close enough. Keep going, Nate.
Oh man, that's
Patrick Kamaga last year.
get him.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
What are these though? Yeah. Full.
Hey, I don't know.
Oh, how do I draw that thing?
Pass.
Cow. Milk.
Pig. Otters.
Flying saucer.
A turtle.
Tail. That turtle.
Wow.
Dog.
Well done.
Dog. It was a turtle.
Yeah.
Time is up. Nate Coehoorn, thanks for playing Draw Play.
Thanks a lot.
Pomegranate? Are you kidding me, TJ Hill? How did you ever get that? Amazing. I don't care what that card said. There's no way it was a turtle. There's just no way he drew a turtle. But anyway, carry on.
So up next, you may not know, but every preseason, all of our players have to go through some pretty vigorous medicals.
Absolutely.
And it's not just that you have to sit down with a doctor for 15 minutes. It's a whole day event. So we sat down with TJ Hill and talked about the whole process and the whole day of the Eskimos medicals.
To me, it's the first day of practice because, like you said, if you don't get cleared here, I can't practice tomorrow. Like the medicals, it's pretty much just go through the routine, questionnaires, concussions, height, weight, dental, meeting with the doctors just to see if any injuries and stuff like that still occurring. It's a long process, you know, but everything's long, you know, when you got, you know, a very organized, you know, organization where, you know, everything got to be precise. So you pretty much, you got to go through the process, you know, it's, you know, pictures taken, you know, media, you know, questions here, nutritious, you know, so you got to go through each one individually, answer questions. And even if you have some questions, like so I asked nutritious, I had a couple of questions for my own today. So I had a couple of concerns about, like, you know, just how to maintain certain diets and stuff like that during the season, you know. So I always try to maintain and I always try to, you know, nurture my body pretty much, because I mean, I can't do anything if my body's not healthy. Pretty much try to do the right thing as far as, like, you know, my intake, you know, knowledge is power, so more information you have, the better. So, you know, we just kind of picking each other's brain a little bit. She's picking mine as well, so we just kind of going back and forth, you know, of, you know, certain nutritions and, okay, well, what did this does and what did this do and how can you increase this and how can you decrease that? So, and I was going back and forth. I said, well, don't this, do that. So it kind of got into a little research thing, and I'm like, okay, you know, let me slow down a little bit. Let's just keep it neutral, whereas I'm just, whatever I need, I just ask her. She's the professional, so. You know, we come here, we have to be prepared. And we all knew about the shuttle within, you know, months in advance before we had to report to camp. So, but you know, the shuttle, it is a little different, because I had some 300 shuttles in the past, and you know, it's a beast. But you know, it's the thing, you know, not just physically, it's the thing mentally too. So, you know, I'm quite sure they want to see where we at physically, and also, you know, it could be a mind burner as well. So, you know, you got to be mentally focused as well. You know, it's a challenge, you know, but we're professional football players. We all should be able to be up for a challenge here and there. The guys make fun of me all the time because I work out before practice and I work out after practice, you know, but that's just me and my own regimen. You know, I do things, you know, to make myself comfortable, and like, to me personally, I feel like I just need to be prepared. You know, I just need to be prepared, and I feel like that's one thing I can't control. A lot of things, you know, on the field you can't control, where, you know, you can't control some wins and losses, you can't control some outcomes of the game, but one thing I can control is I control me being prepared and me putting 100% in, and me going out there and giving my all. So by me doing that, you know, what I do on the field, I got to incorporate off the field as well. So that's just my personal, you know, regimen that I do. So I feel like if I'm prepared mentally and physically off the field, it'll prepare me to be mentally and physically on the field.
Remember to tune in next week for our second part of Out of Bounds, where we follow TJ through the entire day of the medicals process.
Wow, it's going to be great. You know what? This is great too. We actually have some football on the show this year. It's exciting. The voice of the Eskimos, 6:30 Chad, the play-by-play man, of course, is Morley Scott. He replaced legendary Brian Hall. Big shoes to fill, but he's doing a great job, and we're going to get a chance to check him out right now. In fact, you probably don't know this, but he is Brian Hall's illegitimate great grandson. Morley, take it away.
Thanks, Chris. And if I really was related to Brian Hall, I'd probably have better hair. As we get set to start a new CFL season, there's been so many changes with the Eskimos that I thought I'd bring you up to date on some of the numbers you want to pay attention to. First two numbers, number 6 and number 7. Receivers, Ray Fisher and Brandon James. They're both receivers, but they're also both kick returners. And I guarantee you, at some point this season, they'll bring you out of your seat with excitement. They're the short guys in the receiving corps. The tall guys, 71 is Marcus Henry, 4 is Adarius Bowman. They made some great catches in the preseason. That will also continue. How about these two numbers? Number 56, you know him, that's Patrick Kabongo. But 76 is a reason you might not recognize him. That's the amount of weight he's lost since last year. 15 and 2, those are two numbers you do know on the Eskimos offense. Ricky Ray to Fred Stamps has been a great combination for many years. That will continue this year. To the defense now. Noel Prefontaine wore number 7. He was traded to Toronto last year for these two, 45, Damaso Munoz, and 95, Etienne Laguerre. They're both starters on the Eskimos defense this year. Number 90, Greg Peach, defensive end. The 3, well, that represents how many quarterback sacks he had in the preseason. A healthy Greg Peach could mean unhealthy quarterbacks around the CFL. Just ask Drew Tate about that. Number 18 to number 12. Well, 18 doesn't exist anymore for TJ Hill. That's because he's not only changed numbers, he's also changed position, going from linebacker to free safety. One thing that won't change for TJ Hill, though, is he'll still be the heartbeat of the Eskimos defense. How about 99? Maybe the most important number for every CFL team this year. The 99th Grey Cup game will be played in Vancouver in November, and there's 8 teams that want to be there. Speaking of numbers, how about my number? All season long, every game on 6:30 Ched. Enjoy the year, everybody.
Well, Well, that does it for today's show, but remember you can tune in next Wednesday starting at 4:30 p.m. on Shaw TV Channel 10. And as always, you can check us out at esks.com and shawtv.com.
Absolutely, and just counting the sleeps. Don't forget the first Eskimo game of the season, the regular season, comes on Sunday, July 3rd, 5 p.m. when they're back in Saskatchewan taking on the Rough Riders. I hope it's not as windy as the last game. Did you see how the wind was blowing? That every ball was a short kick. It was ridiculous. It was blowing it back towards the other team. You can listen to the game live on the Voice of the Eskimos, 6:30 chat, of course, with Morley, Scott, and Dave Campbell, or check your local Shaw listings. But until next time,
go Esko!
And speaking of numbers, one more number for you. I couldn't peel the paper away. Last one.
You know, Chris, Jed had a wonderful CFL career, but what's most impressive is if he... Go Esko!
Then go to Morley.